Hello, everybody. This episode of the Sabin video podcast is brought to you, as always, as a huge thanks to Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience, the JRE, which is available on YouTube and iTunes. Joe is an amazing person. He's very funny, stand-up comedian. He also, of course, is a commentator for the UFC and former host of Fear Factor. That's how most people know who that is. I say this ahead of every time, and I'm sure some people that actually watch this religiously are sick of hearing me say this. But without Joe, I would never thought about doing this. So, always indebted to you. I'm also brought to you as a huge thanks to Zions. The only energy drink I drink. If I could speak English. Let's try to do this again. I've only done this 35 times. The only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. Great taste. Doesn't taste like crap like a lot of those other energy drinks. The original great tasting 0 calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag Power2. And in this case, the hashtag Power2 podcast. I'm not sponsored by either of these companies. However, I'm a huge, huge fan. If they wish to sponsor me, that would be fan-fucking-tastic. Especially Zions. For 2 reasons. One, they don't even have to pay me. Like money, don't need it. Just send me cases of this. Maybe not this particular flavor, but just send me, cases of Zions. We'd be set. Especially seeing as how I'm the only one that mentions them besides Samantha Ponder. Good choice, by the way, Science. I am drinking Frostberry Blast today. Alright, to quick synopsis, we're going to go over, I know I did this last time, we're going to go over the NFL schedule for this week, and I'm going to give you my predictions. I should probably write that down. That's good. I never do a follow-up video. I've noticed that. I mean to write it down, and then I don't. And then I just forget it. I'll probably run through, anyway, the schedule. I'm going to go through the several parts of the NFL draft, covering defensive tackles, probably some wide receivers, tight ends, stuff like that. I'll give you some names to keep in the back of your mind for your team if you're interested in, of course, for the Lions, because I'm, of course, a Lions fan. I'm also a Packers fan. That's why I like the NFC North as a whole. Because with the exception of the Packers and every once in a while the Bears, the entire NFC North pretty much sucks. So I'm just an overall fan of the NFC North. I just like football. I like the Packers. And I probably threw a lot of you off when I said that. I'm a big fan of the Lions. And what's with the Super Bowl thing right here? Yeah, we've never gone. It's kind of sad. All right, let's crack this baby open. Okay, to kick off this podcast. Sorry, my nose is kind of runny. I'm feeling a little under the weather lately. Tried to sweat it out last night. I did a little bit, but still just kind of, feeling a bit crummy. Victor Crummy. That's a shot at Harry Potter for those of you who didn't know that. Anyway. Hey, I just blinded the shit out of you guys. I know how I feel at a very small amount. I'm kidding. No. So to kick off the podcast, yesterday I finished the Game of Thrones game by Teltale. First of all, Teltale is an amazing company. They've got some really good games out. The real big game they did first was The Walking Dead. And I know that a lot of people have said that too. Well, it's The Walking Dead, and I don't like it. No. Okay. The game has nothing to do with the show. At all. Different people, different setting. It's really good. Everything's based on decisions. The decisions that you make. If you choose against someone's decision, they're going to be pissed at you. Now, the cool thing is that's how life really works. The decisions you make, not everyone's going to be happy. And that's part of the reason why I enjoyed those games, is because, every time you played it, you could pick something completely different and give you a completely different scenario. Obviously, there's limited amounts of times you can do that, but some amazing moments. In the first season, there's 2 seasons, they're called. You play as Lee Everett. I'll give you a quick synopsis of him. It's not going to give anything away. He was on his way to prison before the world took a shit. And that's how the game starts. You're in a cop car. You're on your way to jail, prison. And you're handcuffed in the back of a cop car. And you hit a zombie or walker, as they called them in the game and the show. And you have to try and escape and get to a house. And at this house, some things go on that I don't want to say because it's kind of cool. And it's a big part of the story that you kind of try and figure out for yourself how to deal with it. But, sorry, I got Dan Patrick's show going on and they're talking about the Rams. So I keep looking up there every once in a while. But in the game, you meet Clementine. And you end up taking care of her, and it's a really, really good game. It's got one of the saddest endings to a game I have probably ever played. It's one of the few games where I can actually say, at the end, I cried. And then there's Season 2, where you play as Clementine, which is just as good, if not a little bit better, than the first one. But definitely play those. You do have to purchase the episodes, which kind of sucks. But if you get the season pass, I'm going to tell you right now, it's cheaper. It's not significantly cheaper, but it's cheaper, it's easier, because that way when you get to the next episode, instead of having to pay it's like $4 or something like that for the next episode, if you have the season pass, you just have to download it. That is available on Xbox Marketplace. It was in October, the first season was free on Xbox One. So I snagged that because it's really good. I play on the 360. Yeah, I have both. A lot of people I know are like, well, I traded in my 360 to get the one. And I thought about that, but there's so many games I have for the 360, and I like the 360 that I do both. Ugh. I hiccuped and took a drink at the same time. Ugh, way to get crap to go out your nose. But the Game of Thrones game, by the same company, same setup, your decisions tailor the entire game, is just as good. In fact, I'd argue it's better. You play as House Forrester in their group. One of them, actually, the guy that you play for a small segment of it is Garrett Tuttle. He is originally he starts off as a squire. He is eventually promoted at the Tims, and then I'm just going to tell you that. That's how the game starts. Starts at the Red Wedding. For fans of the show, you know what I'm talking about. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Red Wedding is a double cross where everybody dies. No, really, everybody. Everybody dies. And you get to see a Harry Potter character. I'm dead serious, actually. Walter Frey is played by... I'm going to Google his name real quick. Mr. Filch. Yeah, what's his name? David Bradley. He's played by David Bradley. I'm double checking myself after I keep going. Yeah, Walter Frey. Ooh, he's gonna be in the next season. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a nerd. I enjoy this shit. Awesome. He's gonna be in the next season. That's good because that was a character that like was really interesting and kind of off, weirdish, and they only showed him for like 2 episodes. It was like, damn it, I kind of want to know about this guy. But anyway, he's part of the Double Cross. All the Starks are killed. All of them. Robb, his wife, his unborn child, his mother, and everyone that was there with them, including the dog. Which was the saddest part for me of that episode. That part where you realize that people killing people, that's life. That's what people say. You're riding high in April when you get shot down. Sorry. I tip my cap to Frank Sinatra. But you know that's just how things go. Killing something else like that, nope. I had a problem with it. But let's continue with the game because I have terrible ADD and this is shit I gotta talk about. The game as a whole, like I said, is fantastic. You end up playing as, let's see, Garrett, Ethan, Mira, Asher, Roderick. I'm trying to think, is there one more? No, so you end up playing as 5 characters. I'm double checking that in my head real quick. Yeah, 5 characters. The game is, like I said, fantastic. Spoiler alert. I'm gonna give a little bit of shit that goes on. So, your decisions that you make obviously travel throughout the game. But you have to realize, just like in the show, there's risks. There's risks to everything you do. It has to be calculated risk. You meet Cersei in episode... I'm trying to think, when do you talk to Cersei? Is that episode 1? I think it's episode 1. And you find out that just like in the show, she's just going to be pissed off. There's really no way to please her. She's just a bitch. Hang on. That's bugging me. Oh, nope, that's attached to me. Never mind. Sorry, I just noticed that there's like a hair dangling, and I wasn't sure if it was on the computer or if it was me. So I was checking me first, because that's what it looked like, based on the direct light behind me, which I'm thinking about turning off. Because every time I lean out of the way, you guys get blinded a little bit. Which is both funny to me, because I'm already there, and because it's just, I don't know. Anyway. Like I said, you meet Cersei, you have to explain yourself, kind of. You play Mira Forrester at that point. She is a handmaiden to Lady Marjorie of High Point. And she's in the middle of course, getting married to Joffrey, which you get to see. Yeah. When Joffrey fucking dies, you're there. It's very nice. Unfortunately, you don't get to see it again. I may have watched it like that part, specifically him dying, like 9 times. It was satisfying. They discuss Tommen taking over. You end up at his commencement ceremony. I think that's what they call it. You end up being there during that. You got to make some decisions about what's going on while you're there. I'm not going to type why, because that's a big piece. When you play as Garrett Tuttle, you yeah, I did that on purpose. You show up. This is in the first episode. You're Gregor Forrester's squire, and everybody gets killed. And you end up back at House Forrester. Before you end up there, you go and visit your family. And there's a house that the Forresters have never gotten along with, really. Well, I mean, you find out a little bit behind that later. But, and that's the White Hills. And they kill your family. And you kill one of their people Could be 2. You get the decision. You kill the one guy 100%, and another guy comes at you and he begs for his life. And you get to choose. Do you kill him or not? Normally, I choose kill him. This past time, I said no. Just because I thought about it for a minute. I was like, alright, let's see what happens if you only kill one of them. It doesn't matter. The penalty's the same. And they leave. You end up at House Forrester. You find out that, of course, you can't stay there. Your uncle, when you play Garrett, is Castellan, the House Forrester. And I can't think of his name right now. The guy that plays your uncle. You get sent to the wall. And shit goes downhill from there. But Lord Forrester gave you a message. I'm not going to tell you because it's a big part of pretty much everything he does. He has to deal with something north of the wall. It's really good. You play Ethan for a small amount of time after father is killed. You think your brother Roderick is dead, and your other brother Asher is in Essos. Yeah, I studied the game before I played it, and I played it several times because my fucking Xbox kept taking a dump, and so I had to reload it every damn time. Played it a few times, a couple times. The first 3 episodes I've only played like 8 times. Didn't help that I was also playing it during the time when they weren't coming out with episodes. So they'd be like, next month we'll come out with the episode sometime during next month. Okay, I'm going to play through the episodes that are currently up now. But anyway, Asher's in Essos, and he plays Ethan, who's now Lord of House Forrester. Lord Whitehill shows up, which is actually his first name is Ludd. I'm just calling him Ludd. Ludd. And Ludd is an asshole. And if he doesn't get his way, he bitches and whines and speaks to the new Wardens of the North, which, of course, are the Boltons. Now, there's a strategic deal between the Whitehills and the Boltons, and you get to meet at the end of the first episode a certain Bolton who's not a Bolton because he's a bastard. That's right, Ramsay shows the fuck up. And he does what Ramsay does. For those of you who've seen the show, you know what I mean. For those of you who don't, play the fucking game. You'll find out. I totally almost did the hand motion of what happened. I don't want to do that. Yeah, episode 2, you end up being Asher. Asher, of course, as I said, is in Essos. He's with a friend of his. Her name is Beska. You end up being rescued by your uncle, who tells you need to get an army of sellswords and bring them back to Westeros to fight against the Whitehills. And that's that. You end up meeting, of course, who's in Essos? Daenerys. You end up meeting Daenerys after you encounter her dragon. That, of course, would be Drogon. I'm scaring myself by how much I know about this fucking show. Of course, then again, it's that addictive. So, you bump into. I actually do mean you bump into him by complete accident, Drogon, and you end up meeting Daenerys. And I'm trying to think without giving it away. You negotiate some things with her. You meet her in Marine, and you end up raiding the city of Marine with her people. Anyway, and you have to try and get this army of sellswords and bring them with you back to House Forrester in Westeros. Along other characters that are involved in the show that you do meet. Like I said, you meet Cersei. When you play Mira, you end up working with Tyrion, which is really cool. Of course, it's the actors' voices that they do, but I mean, it's really cool. Okay, I covered Asher. I covered Mira. Oh, you also have, as I said, Roderick. Roderick, I'm just going to tell you because I already said the spoiler thing to Bob, is presumed dead. He's not. He comes back because he's not dead. He's very much mangled, but he's not dead. And that's pretty cool. But yeah, absolutely play the game. The game is very much worth it. It really didn't give much away. Now that I think about it, I explained what's going on. It's very good, very very good. Like I'm contemplating. If I didn't have to take care of the puppy today, I'd be playing it right now again and making the opposite decisions that I made the first time. You meet Jon Snow, of course, in the game when you end up at the wall. That's pretty cool. Other than that, though, can't wait until April. They're going to have the new season of the show up. Very happy about that. And that's pretty much it when it comes to that game. All I can say is absolutely 100% play the motherfucker. Play the Walking Dead game, too, because it's very good. I haven't... So I know people who don't like The Walking Dead, and I convinced, I think, a couple of them to play the game. I don't remember exactly who. And I was like, just play the first episode. First episode's free. Just play the first episode. I don't like The Walking Dead. Okay, just play the first episode and tell me what you think. Play the first episode and crap, I can't believe I got to pay for the rest of them. See? It's one of those. It's very addictive. I have played through The Walking Dead season 1 and 2 4 times. It's kind of a long game, so it's one of those where they're like, oh, you've only played through it 4 times? It takes you a day to get through season 1 and 2. That's an entire day. And that's if you started at like 8 in the morning. I'll give you this realistic understanding. If you started, and I mean beginning of episode 1 at 8 a.m., by 8 p.m. you'd probably be on episode 3 or 4 of season 2. I think there's 6 episodes. Let me look. Okay, there are 11 episodes, according to the information I'm reading right now. This is coming straight from Google, from Teltale Games. It's available on Windows, Mac, OS, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, whatever the hell that is, Xbox 360, Xbox One, iOS, Kindle Fire, HDX, Android, The Walking Dead Season 1, and, of course, Walking Dead Season 2 and Season 3. Season 3 they've not come out with yet. Let me see if they've announced Season 3 yet. If I can find my cursor. Ooh, November 21st. Awesome. I try to keep up with this. I know that they've already said they're not going to be doing it for a while because they're busy with... Telltale's busy with Game of Thrones. They're going to do another season of that, I believe, is what I read. Borderlands thing that they're doing. I don't remember what it's called. They did a thing with Borderlands, which I've never played. I hear it's good. They're doing a thing, I believe, with Minecraft. I think that's Telltale. That's doing a thing with Minecraft. And they're doing something else, too. I forget, though. Okay, this is from Teltale Games, their community. The Walking Dead Season 3. The Walking Dead Season 3 is still a while off, but we decided to make Season 3 waiting a Season 3 waiting thread, just like the release date threads of Season 1 and 2. You can discuss news about the season or just let your hype out in this thread. Awesome. They're going to come out with a Michonne miniseries, I understand. Yeah, if you want to discuss the Michonne miniseries, it's a thing they're going to do. As of November 20th, tweet from Job, whoever the hell that is. No updates on Season 3 until after the miniseries concludes, but one thing is for certain, you will want to play the Michonne miniseries before Season 3. I have a feeling they're going to find a way to hook those two up. That came out wrong. Allow me to rephrase. You're going to find a way to connect the two. Should be fun. Like I said, totally fun game. You really would like it. I've been rambling for like 20 minutes about this game, those two games alone. Absolutely play both of those. They're both fantastic. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the main reason why pretty much anybody watches this besides me. Okay. Oh, shit, that's right. I forgot about that. Sorry. NFL schedule. The Buccaneers played the Rams last night. The Buccaneers lost 31-23. And it's rumored that the Rams are going to be going to Los Angeles. I will discuss that in a second. Saturday, Jets-Cowboys. I have a feeling the Jets are going to beat the Cowboys. Defensively. That's the only reason I say that. Offensively, it's a crapshoot. I mean, they have Marshall, so I'd say the Jets. But the Cowboys have a pretty good quarterback in Matt Castle. Their team sucks, but Matt Castle I like. I think he can come through for them. Panthers-Giants. Panthers win. It's the Giants. I'm sorry. The Panthers have too many weapons. Titans-Patriots. Wonder who's going to win that game. Patriots. But should be able to see what Marcus Mariota can do against a pretty good defense. Bills-Skins. You can go ahead and go with the Skins, actually, on this one. I like the way Kirk Cousins has been playing as of late. Not that I don't trust the Bills and Tyrod Taylor. It's just the Redskins have looked good lately. I think the Redskins probably win it by a touchdown. I think they scored like a minute left. Chiefs-Ravens. Chiefs. Both teams are really banged up, but the Chiefs' run game, I think, is going to beat up the Ravens. Texans-Colts. Texans by 3. Falcons-Jags. Falcons win by 3. Again, the Jags have been really hot as of late. If they can shut down Julio Jones, they're not going to be able to move the ball. Bears-Vikings. It's a tough matchup. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Vikings. I think AP is going to go off again, and it should be a good game. Packers-Raiders. I'm going to go with the Packers. If they go back to that run game they did last week with Lacey and Starks, the Raiders are going to have a hard time. If they throw the ball, it's going to be a pick fest because Charles Woodson's doing amazing. They're doing a really good job of keeping up on the press coverage, but I think that the Packers prevail. Browns-Seahawks. Wonder who's going to win that game. Seahawks. Although I think the Browns and Johnny Manziel, of course, is going to start for the rest of the year. That's what they've said. And I think this will be a big step up for him. If he can prove that he can at least put up some points against Seahawks, might be able to show that he should be the number one quarterback with Cleveland. I think he should be number 1 quarterback. I don't think the guy you got there now in what's his name? McCown. I don't think he's the answer. I think Johnny Football is the guy, and I don't like him. But you know what? You got it. He's earned it. Give him his shot. Let him do his thing. Bengals-Niners. Now, normally I would go ahead and say the Bengals by blowout, but A.J. McCarron is starting for the Bengals. So I actually have the Niners winning. No Eifert. no, what's their nickname for him? The Red Rifle or whatever the hell. They don't have Andy Dalton. That's what that is, Andy Dalton. So you take away your big-time quarterback, and you take away a big weapon in your tight end. I think the Niners beat the Bengals. Dolphins, Chargers. Chargers beat the Dolphins by 5. And I really do mean that. Broncos, Steelers. I think Osweiler's starting for the Broncos. Steelers, Broncos. Steelers win by 10. And then, of course, at Sunday night, 8:30 Eastern Time. I always do these in Eastern Time because that's the timetable I work with. Is another Battle of the Birds. Cardinals, Eagles. I think the Cardinals run over the Eagles. Win by 17. And Monday night, the 21st at 8:30 Eastern Time, the Lions play the Saints. I have the Saints winning by 10. And that's the NFL schedule for this upcoming week. A lot of good games, actually. And now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Rams. There are 3 teams bidding to leave their current city and go to Los Angeles, or at Inglewood, if you will. And that, of course, 2 of them you can guess. If I said the Rams, who else plays at a really bad stadium who would want to move to Los Angeles? I'll give you a hint. They're black and silver. Any guesses? If you guessed Oakland, you're right. Oakland Raiders, they want to move to Inglewood. I think they should move back to Anaheim. That's me personally. I think they should move back to Anaheim, give themselves their own stadium. And like I said, there are 3 teams bidding for the Inglewood position. Raiders, Rams, and the Chargers. I think the Chargers should stay in San Diego and build a new stadium. I think that's where they've pretty much always been. That's where they should stay. However, I think that we should go ahead and move the Rams back to Los Angeles. Never thought they should have left to begin with. And so it's a big possibility that this past Thursday, that was their last game in St. Louis. Okay. So I said I was going to do this, so let's go ahead and do this. Let me double check if my angle is correct. I don't want to make it look like I'm... There we go. I want to be a little closer, that's all. I have an update on Facebook, and there's a little bing thing. Oh, it's from KM. Never mind. Counter Move. That's from Counter Move. That's the only gambling site I use, actually. Counter Move is mixed martial arts, and they do put some WWE shit on there and some boxing. It's a very good site, very trustworthy, very fun. Counter Move. I'm not sponsored by them either. Okay, some names you might want to know when it comes to the draft. So, of course, I've done this with quarterbacks, did it with running backs, and I think I may have even covered receivers, or at least mentioned a couple receivers. If not, I'm going to go over receiver class anyway. These are just some names you should probably get yourself used to, because there's a good chance they're going to end up on somebody's roster. The first name on this list is 6'3", 296 pounds, out of Ole Miss, defensive tackle Robert Nkemdiche. Now, I only just recently figured out how to pronounce this guy's name. I don't watch a lot of Ole Miss football. His name is spelled Nkemdiche. I used to think it was like Nkemdiche. No, it's Nkemdiche, actually. To see. He's a pretty big guy. He's pretty good, actually. He's a difficult defensive tackle. That's just one of those names you should get yourself used to. Like I said, he's from Ole Miss. A really good tackle coming out this year. Another one is Ashawn Robinson from Alabama. He's defensive tackle, 6'3", 312 pounds. Another one of those guys. Again, if you put him in your lineup, You're going to have a beast coming at the opposing quarterback or running back coming up out of the off the defensive line there. Another name a lot of people actually aren't really all that familiar with, and that's Andrew Billings out of Baylor. He's 6'1", 310. He's got good footwork, good hands. He very much can get inside. He can go outside, do some real shifty swim moves, and be able to get in the backfield and take out, again, either your quarterback or running back. They got Kenny Clark on here. He's 6'2", 310 out of UCLA. Jerron Reed, 6'3", 313 pounds out of Alabama. Again, another guy from Bama, a team I'm not really fond of, but he's got some serious talent. Another guy, I'm going to have to get used to hearing his name because we're playing him, my team, Notre Dame, is playing him in a bowl game, although he will not be playing, and that is Adolphus Washington of Ohio State. 6'4", 290. Another guy absolutely can move your lineman and get back there and take out your quarterback or running back. Hang on, I got another little thing. If it's from counter move again, I'm just going to leave it alone. Yeah, it's Hadley from counter move. I'm going to go ahead and not name everybody. I'm going to move down the list to a guy that I know about and a guy that I'm more than happy to discuss. And that's Sheldon Day out of Notre Dame. He's defensive tackle, was a defensive end. He's 6'1", 285. And a lot of people are dismissing him because, well, he doesn't have very many sacks. He's got quite a few sacks considering the fact that he, is playing for Notre Dame. He's got a few. He's very good at getting in the backfield. He's very shifty. Again, great with the swim move, great with the hands. He can move your lineman out of the way, and he's got quickness. He's got this quickness that a lot of people don't expect, and he can get back there fast, and he can hit your man, and it's just impressive. Chris Jones from Mississippi State would be another good choice. 6'5", 308. You want to go after him for his size. Of course, DJ Reader is another kid that everybody is really talking about, and that's because he plays for Clemson. He's 6'2", 325. He's pretty good at getting in the backfield, too. Joel Heath from Michigan State, 6'5", 296. Runs a 5.1340 according to this. Again, if he's invited to the combine, we'll have an updated stat on him. But another guy, if you need a defensive tackle, he actually might be sitting there a little later, third roundish. Might be a good pick for your team if you need somebody in your lineup. Now, if DJ Reader's there, I'm going after him instead of Heath, simply because Heath is very good. But Reader's got, from a different team. He's from a different kind of style. Might fit your, in my case, a scheme that I'm going for. Something that I can do with my offense, my defense. I have my own way of things that I like to do. And Reader, I think, would personally fit my style a little bit better. But in the case of, the Lions, if Heath is there in the late third, early fourth round, go ahead and take him. Oh, must be I started the conversation and KM. You see, yep, because now Donald's on it. All right. I'll check that in a second. Other than that, quick looking through here. No, there's a name. There's a couple names right here that don't come up very often. Devon Pearson, 6'1", 305 out of Texas Christian University. Another guy a lot of people don't talk about. However, again, can get in the backfield, can disrupt things. If I'm sitting fourth, I'd even say fifth round, take him. 6'3", 300 pounds, Baylor. Bo Blackshear. That is a guy I would take twice a week and 3 times on Sunday. Very good, very much, again, with the hands, to get inside and get your offensive lineman out of the way and get in the backfield and disrupt. The Lions were looking for a defensive tackle, and obviously they do need one, but I think they should wait. That's a guy, again, I'd not be ashamed to see them go ahead and get him. I'm going to screw this guy's name up because I don't know how it's pronounced. Mehdi Abdismad, something like that. Anyway, he plays for Boston College, 6'6", 286 pounds. I would go after him simply for size. You go after him for size advantage. And then you see what he can do. Can he shift people out of the way? Does he have a good swim move? I don't watch a lot of Boston College. I didn't get to watch most of the game, to be honest with you. When Notre Dame played Boston College, I was busy. I did get to watch the third and fourth quarter. But again, if you're looking for a guy who's big, go ahead and go after him. 6'6". That's definitely, a bigger guy you want on the interior. Okay, not that I'm not interested in this, but I think it's time to move on. We go to defensive ends. Defensive tackles, there's quite a few defensive tackles who were at one point either a defensive end or you were a defensive tackle, and they got moved to defensive end. Same thing with linebackers. There's a lot of big linebackers that they move down to defensive end or vice versa because you're big and you can just get in the way. Okay, obviously the first pick off of the defensive end is Joey Bosa from Ohio State. He's 6'5", 275, and the kid is just a beast. He reminds me of J.J. Watt. And I think that's really what he'll be when he gets to the pros. He just has this uncanny ability to just shove people out of the way, and it's scary. And the number 2 guy on there is DeForest Buckner, Oregon, 6'7", 290. Another really good defensive end, gets people out of the way, gets in the backfield, but also can cover if you roll somebody off of him. He can cover at tight end if you really needed him to. Shaq Lawson, 6'3", 270 out of Clemson. Would be another really good pick. Jonathan Bullard is on here. Jonathan Allen. That was Florida, Alabama. Bullard from Florida, Allen from Alabama. Both of them are 6'3", both 283. Shalik Calhoun, 6'5", 252, Michigan State. I keep saying this because I keep mentioning the Lions because that's really the big team I keep an eye on. If I was the Packers, I'd try and trade up to get Joey Bosa. That's just me. But if, I'm the Lions and I'm sitting second round, I know they need a defensive end, I go ahead and get Shalik Calhoun. That's another guy you want on the other side of Ziggy Ansah to give you some help. Nothing against Jason Jones. Just food for thought. Another guy I'm in love with, think he's really good, really big. That would be great for any team, really. Defensive end, 6'8", 276 pounds out of Baylor. Sean Oakman. This kid is big. And he can get people out of the way. I've said that enough times now. But he also has a vertical leap that's scary. You can't throw over him. He blocks passes down. Very good defensive end. Again, if the Lions grabbed him, I would be elated. Charles Tapper out of Oklahoma, 6'2", 282. Devontae Fields, that's another really good pick. He's out of Louisville, 6'4", 254. Again, different little bit of a speed to him, be able to get people out of the way. Of course, on this list also is Romeo Okwara. On Notre Dame, 6'4", 270, former linebacker. And he runs a 4.83, according to this, in the 40-yard dash. And not only because he's out of Notre Dame, but also because he's a really cool guy. Love him. He's awesome. Be great to see him go anywhere. I don't feel he's necessary to mention. Just because it's one of those where you go, not a lot of people really watch, not around here anyway, that team. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want colleges, I want the other position. There we go. Alright. We'll go ahead now, and I'm going to cover some receivers. Big names that are coming out of the draft, or going into the draft, I apologize, and are, again, you want to keep your eye out for him. The first guy on here, absolutely keep your eye out for, because he could go in the first 5 picks. And that's Laquan Treadwell. 6'2", wide receiver, 210 pounds, out of Ole Miss. Kid's got some good speed, good hands. He's 6'2", so he's got some decent size, and he can get up there. He'll fight for the ball. The next guy on here is Corey Coleman from Baylor, 5'10", 190. Runs 4.42. Again, looking for speed, shiftiness. Go ahead and you get Coleman. Michael Thomas, Ohio State, 6'3", 210 pounds. He runs a 4.54 according to this. Another, decent speed, good hands. Definitely be able to, if you're there and you need a receiver, get him. A guy that's kind of come out of nowhere, to be honest with you, Josh Doxson, Texas Christian University, 6'2", 195, 4.4, 940. Great hands, good in the red zone. Go ahead and get him. Now, the next name on here is Will Fuller. Will Fuller, I don't believe is going to go to the draft. I think he stays. Tyler Boyd out of Pittsburgh, 6'2", 200, 4.4, 740. Again, speed, decent hands, shifty, possibly do kick return. I'm not sure if he does at Pitt, but you could use him in a kick return game because of that speed. Go ahead and you get him. Right now, from all the mock drafts that I've seen, most of them say that the Packers are going to get Tyler Boyd, which wouldn't be a bad pick. Pharaoh Cooper, South Carolina, 5'11", 208, 4.52. Again, decent hands, decent speed. Not 100% certain about his ability, though. I have question marks on him. Sterling Shepard, Oklahoma, 5'10", 193, 4.52. If you're sitting at the tail end of the first round, I'm looking at kind of the Seahawks when I think of this. You need a receiver who's going to fight for the ball. He's got good speed and doesn't really drop it that often. You go ahead, you get Sterling Shepard. That kid is amazing. I watched him in the Oklahoma game not too long ago, and as much as I think Oklahoma is overrated, Sterling Shepard's the real deal. The next name on here is Leonte Carew out of Rutgers. 6 foot tall, 2'5", 4.49. I think he's an underclassman. If he is an underclassman, I say he doesn't go. If he's a senior, then obviously he's going to go. Now, I've had a discussion about this next guy with my cousin. He thinks he stays at receiver. I think he goes back to quarterback when he gets to the NFL. And that, of course, is Braxton Miller, 6'1", 215, 4.42, out of Ohio State. He's currently at receiver. I think he could move back to quarterback. But I think that would be a good fit for the Niners. Somebody who can run out of the wildcat and use him as a receiver. But if you really need a quarterback, you can go ahead and get him. It's going to be obviously a huge addition to the team. I'm going to go ahead and jump down the list here to Braylon Addison. Braylon Addison, 5'10", 190, 442, out of Oregon. Got some good speed, good shiftiness. They use him kind of as their all-around guy. They roll him through the backfield. They line him up in the backfield. They let him go down the seam. They even run a little wildcat with him. Good pick right there if, again, you need somebody who you can use on a regular basis. Aaron Burnbridge from Michigan State, 6'1", 208, 457. Decent hands. Drops every once in a while. For the longest time there, he was pretty much the only target they had at Michigan State. That's kind of what it seemed like. If they weren't running the ball, they were going to throw it to, I said it, Burnbridge. Of course, that's not the case anymore, and he's done a hell of a job. The next name on here is Devon Kijust. Of course, he caused a lot of problems for me, and so I'm not his biggest fan right now, but he's a good receiver, and I give him credit. 6'3", 227, 4.6 40. Stanford. Kid's got some speed, really good hands. I haven't really seen him drop too many passes. And he's, like I said, got good hands, good ability, good awareness, and he can get in the middle of the field and just do his thing. And obviously, I'm not a huge fan of his because they beat my team. Colby Listenby, Texas Christian, 6'1", 183, 4.36 40. That's a guy, I say again, 4th round-ish. You need somebody with some speed. You grab him, you line him up in that slot, and you tell him to just go. Kid's got amazing speed, really good hands. Say you take him in about the late third, early 4th round. If he's still there around the 5th, you absolutely take him. That's a steal. I'm going to jump down again to... Oh, I'm sorry. When I said Addison, I meant the guy that's coming up here. It's not going to... Braylon Addison, wrong guy. Still good hands, decent speed, shiftiness. I meant the guy that I'm about to say here in a second. The first guy, though, is Chris Brown. Notre Dame, 6'2", 195, 4.48 40. Again, sitting there in the 4th round, you need a good receiver, grab Chris Brown. He's got good shiftiness. He can do kick return. And he's got really good hands. Doesn't really drop much. Doesn't get targeted a lot, so that's why his stats may kind of throw you. But he's a good kid. Good hands. Good player. The next guy is who I meant to say the first time. That's Byron Marshall. Byron Marshall used to be a running back. He's 5'9", 202, 4.4, 240 out of Oregon. He's the all-around guy. I apologize for the other part. I mixed the two of them up. Byron Marshall, they run out of the backfield. They line him up in Wildcat, and they use him as a receiver. Good speed, good hands. I'd probably move him back to running back if I was them, whoever drafts him, simply because 5'9" receiver in the NFL, I have some problems, size-wise. Going down the list here. Malcolm Mitchell, 6 foot nothing, 4.52, 195, decent speed, good hands. I've said that about 90 times now. A lot of these guys have some really decent speed. He's a guy, again, might be a sleeper in about the 4th roundish. DeQuil Williams, 6'2", 224, 4.5 40. Another sleeper, I'd say. He's out of Auburn. Quinshaw Davis. I've heard off and on things about him. North Carolina, 6'3", 220, 4.59. Yeah, again, I think he'd be interesting to see what he does. At 6'3", that gives you a lot of options because of his size. The last guy I'm going to mention is DeAnthony Arnett, Michigan State, 5'11", 182, 4.49 40. And again, got good hands at 5'11". You got some question marks about his size. But at the same time, that might help you because he's not the biggest guy. And so you run him on some nice underneath routes and get the ball right to him. That's going to do it for receivers. I'm going to do one more lineup, and that'll be for tight ends. Something that a lot of people don't talk about because, well, tight ends are, not as big of a deal anymore. But they come in handy when you need them in the red zone. And if you look at some of the teams that are doing really well, they have good tight ends. Okay, the first guy on here is Hunter Henry out of Arkansas. He's 6'5", 253, 4.79 40. That's actually pretty fast for a tight end. Nick Vannett, Ohio State, 6'6", 260, 4.76 40. Again, if you need a tight end, I'm looking at the Seahawks probably for him, simply because they've got really only one other guy, and that is the obvious in Jimmy Graham. But if you're looking for a guy who can do some decent blocking and catch, Nick Vannett's a pretty good steal there. Laquan McGowan, 4'10", 6'6", 5'5". Ooh, he runs a 5'5'7". That's actually not bad. Out of Baylor. They like to use him down in the red zone because of his size. He's also got really good hands. Not the fastest guy, but again, could be a decent pick. I'd probably wait on him though, simply because there's some other guys that are a little bit bigger. When it comes to talent, not to say that he's not talented. It's just that there are certain people on here that are, I'd go with them first. Gus Pennington, 6'5", 250 out of Baylor. I don't even know who that is. Not a lot of talent right now at tight end, but there are a few steals in here, like Hunter Henry. Sorry, my nose is running like a faucet. And that pretty much does it when it comes to the draft. Again, names that are being thrown around. Let me quick go to offensive tackles. There's some names that are being thrown around with the first 10 picks. One of those names at the offensive line position is, if he's right there, he is right there, Laramie Tunsil out of Ole Miss. He's 6'5", 305, runs a 5'2", 340. That's not really that important at offensive line. His name's getting thrown around a lot for first to second pick. I think that's a little high, but if you need him, you need him. I mean, it's one of those where if you need the guy, you take him. And then there's, of course, my man Ronnie Stanley, Notre Dame, 6'6", 315. I think that should be the guy that the Lions pick with their first pick. That's just me. After that, it's Taylor Decker, 6'7", and then Jack Conklin, 6'6", 318. Decker's from Ohio State. Conklin's from Michigan State. Both of them are some pretty high talent, really good tackles that you could get. That pretty much does it for this podcast. Just wanted to do a quick check-in and say hello, do my thing. Coming up on 57 minutes. I'm on here for almost an hour. You guys have yourselves a lovely day, evening, whenever it is you watch this. Of course, always brought to you as a huge thank you to Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, the JRE, available on iTunes and YouTube. Without him, I would have never thought about doing this. Also, of course, brought to you as a huge thanks to Zions, the only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. You think I'd have this next part down. The original great tasting 0 calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag power to. Hashtags are something that's always thrown me off because you see, when I was little, that wasn't a hashtag, that was a pound sign. Like I said, you guys have a lovely time, and of course not sponsored by any of these companies. However, I am a huge, huge, huge fan. You guys have yourselves a lovely rest of your day, I guess. Evening, morning, whenever you watch this. Peace.